This can't be real.
No, it's true.
A house for $1.
It's true. I'm telling you.
You can get a house in Newark for $1.
No.
That's crazy.
All right, guys, I have a $1 bill here. Where can I buy real estate for that $1?
Newark.
I will sell you Eric's house for this $1.
Well,
And I will buy it. Sold.
Well, we're going to talk today about buying real estate for like basically nothing. And we have Danny Gonzalez from Danny Builds Homes
Hey,
here
Danny.
with us.
How you guys doing?
Hey, Danny.
It's been a while.
Are you building anything fun today?
My own home.
All right.
You're building your own home?
Yeah,
Did
soon.
you get it for $1?
A little more than $1, probably
A couple $100,000.
$100,000
times two. Because now you can't find anything for under $400,000. It's incredible.
No,
Actually,
you can't.
You can go to
Oh,
Newark,
there you
New
go.
Jersey, and
Newark,
this will
New
get you
Jersey.
a house.
They just announced, I think today or yesterday, that
Yesterday.
they're doing the first time auction for residents in Newark, right?
So you were telling me, though, that they did it before for anyone.
I think they did it 2 years ago, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. They did it 2 or 3 years ago, and I think it was for anyone that agrees. I think you had to sign an affidavit saying you were going to live in Newark for 2, 3, 4 years. They didn't want investors.
Right.
They wanted people that were going to move in there, fix up the house, raise their family there, and add to Newark.
I think it's great. I think we should all move to Newark.
Well, there is a $1 home program through
Right.
HUD, right? So it's not just Newark. There are a lot of gentrifying areas or areas that they want to be gentrified that they do this where they're like, here, buy a home for $1, but you have to commit. And are we going to commit to living in Newark or in Detroit or
Newark
wherever
has some
it is?
really gorgeous old
does.
mansions. You know, we have a property in Newark on Halsey Street, and
Yep.
every time I go there, it's just getting better and better and better.
Oh, is that the building?
That's the building, Halsey.
right, yeah.
We love
And
Halsey,
it's
Newark. It's awesome.
Slowly developing towards you.
Slowly coming up the street. Yeah,
absolutely.
But
Which is-
this whole $1 thing is awesome. They do this in Europe too. With some of the old villages, they have
Yep.
these villages in nowhere, and they make you commit to living there.
But
I think
so
it's great.
Newark has some restrictions on this. So
Okay.
unfortunately, I don't think this is going to work out for anybody at this table right here. So the restrictions are you had to have lived in Newark for the last 10 years.
Okay.
Or be, I guess they're calling it affected by gentrification in a certain area and looking to find a place there. And then you have to live there for 10 years.
Oh wow. So are they selling properties with tax liens or just anything that they took over?
I'll be honest, I don't know exactly what the properties are, but the properties are not move-in ready. You're going to need somebody such as, you're going to need a good contractor,
Yeah,
somebody that
absolutely.
knows how to build homes if you know anybody.
Yeah, I actually, it's funny because someone reached out to my office the other day.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if she won, but I know she was in the raffle.
Well, there were only 7 that they did yesterday.
Oh, 7
Oh, wow.
properties.
7 homes.
Yeah.
Or 7, they're really knockdowns or really,
You
really
have to
fixer-uppers.
totally do that. You need to fix that. We can have a whole story on it.
So
Oh, no, it'll be
you were
fun.
saying,
We
though,
can,
so what's the process, though? What's the process? You get this $1 home. I give you the $1. I now have this home. Can I live there?
Well, only 3% down though. So just 3 cents.
There's 3
Oh,
cents.
that's
So
it.
just give him 3 cents, please.
3.5 cents.
But
Three
you
and a half
said-
cents. There you go. 3.5
You said
cents.
you had to get a certain kind of loan. What was that?
You don't have to. I mean, I guess if you have money, you don't have to.
What was the loan that
But
you
it's
should
called an
have gotten?
FHA 203K. It's a rehab loan.
Okay, explain that to me.
So let's say you buy one of these $1 houses and you want to fix it up, and it's going to cost you $250,000,
And you have no money.
and you have no money.
Right.
You don't have 250. You had this $1, and that was the extent.
But I got a home.
But you
Go
got a
ahead.
home, and you
You
want
got a home. You got a home.
what you do is you're going to get a loan through a bank. So essentially, let's say it's $250,000. You're going to take out a $250,000 mortgage, and you're going to start making payments on that. And that $250,000 is going to be released in increments to a contractor. There's a lot of stipulations, though. They don't just give the money to the contractor. You have to provide receipts, quotes, everything. You have to provide all the documentation. But it's a great way if you're putting down, let's say, 3.5%, 4%, 5%, something on the lower end.
Right.
It's a great way to get you into a house and let you fix it up and turn it into a home.
But
where
think
you're gonna
about
live.
it. If you were going to get a fixer-upper anyway, you would pay that $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for the home, and then you would end up spending that $250,000 to fix it up.
And you're going to pay for somebody else's sweat equity. Because, when you do the work yourself, you're building equity right away. But when somebody else does it, they expect to make a profit on it.
That's true. Danny,
So you're absolutely you're doing your own flip basically
for yourself.
for yourself.
But you have to live there, of course.
But
You have
what's
to
the
live there.
process? Have you worked with a 203K?
203K.
Yeah, I've done many of them in the past. I mean, it's a great program. The problem is, And I hate to say, but a lot of the contractors, well, not a lot of the contractors, like I say, I go back. There are a lot of construction companies that, they build up their capital and they don't only, do other projects, they do their own as well. But then there's some contractors who are just getting managed day by day, just living. So myself, I would definitely take a 203K. You provide your scope of work. A HUD consultant, which works for the bank, is the middleman, provides his scope of work. It has to see eye to eye. They usually keep about 15% for contingencies and cost overruns.
Like wiggle room?
More...
Flexibility for construction
No,
costs?
it's just money that's just sat for reserves. I'm sorry, for reserves.
Sure.
For shopping, what? Huh?
Oh.
Okay, go ahead.
Just
Shopping for vanities
That's
and
it.
toilets.
So something.
But so I was explaining this earlier today. You start with your full gut. You do the demo and you start framing. Let's say it's about $20,000-$30,000 that you've done. You have the HUD consulting down. He comes, he does an inspection. He sees what percentage of the work is done. Then they release a check to you and the homeowner. It's directly, you're both on it, and then obviously you deposit the check for what you've put up. So basically you're getting refunded back every time you front the money.
You as a contractor.
Me as a contractor, yes. And then I think, I'm not sure how it is, but every time the HUD consultant come out, the homeowner had to pay them, because he's an
Okay.
inspector.
Sure, yeah.
So, wait, what's a gut? Explain a
Oh,
gut.
I'm sorry.
to
Like
me.
a demolition, a full gut. Everybody
Taking
it's
down to the studs.
down to the
studs.
studs. Yeah. Well, depending, because there's also 203Ks that are under 30 grand, and then but most of the time,
renovation.
especially for this dollar home, and I wouldn't see it if the people are happy with the shell, they would just do an entire gut renovation compared to as brand new construction. I would, especially like in Newark. I would go and gut the entire house because now it's a renovation instead of a new construction, and that falls on the
Sure,
different
because
tax
it's an older.
brackets. Yep.
So let me ask this question: do you know the ramification for the appraisal process here? Because if the dollar was the true value of the home and they're getting it for $1, does the home need to appraise for a certain amount of money in order to qualify for a 203K loan? Are you allowed? Is there a certain
Isn't
amount
it
of
the
percentage?
ARV? What they?
Yeah, they're gonna look at the
Pretty
ARV.
sure they're gonna look at the
The
ARV.
actual-
And wait, what's the ARV?
After
After
renovation
After the
value.
repair value. Oh, you're
After repair,
asking
yeah.
what the ARV.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
asking.
I thought you meant
I'm
the price
asking
of the
for
ARV.
everyone.
It's what
Because
it
I was
is
going
one-
to give you the
it's what
price
it-
in Newark. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying around 580. I figured. No,
what
but
it
a
is
lot of
when
these
it's
two
done.
families, the values are
Yeah.
up there in Newark right now. Because I have a friend who's owned Newark property for a long time, and he's been renting for over 20 years. He started unloading a few of them.
Oh, wow.
Because the values were up there. He's like, why not?
Are any of these homes you're giving away like 2 fams, or are they all single?
I think they're
fam?
up to 4
They're-
families.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a great buy.
The lady that called me, it was a 3-family.
But then you have to go move out of wherever you are and live in Newark.
Well, you also have to have lived.
Oh, you
in
have
Well,
to
Newark.
have
now
lived.
you have to
Now
have lived.
it used to be
Right.
different, but now you have to have lived there.
Newark's on its way back.
You don't have to. I used to be the
Yeah,
director of
you were.
marketing
That's
down
right.
in Newark for the downtown
years.
area, and I love Newark. It has a ton of like artsy stuff going on,
The
and
architecture is amazing.
Restaurants.
on all these
everything,
absolutely.
buildings.
restaurants.
Do you
Marcus
see some of these
Samuelson
homes?
has a
I mean,
restaurant down there.
It's the same thing in like Patterson.
Well, the
areas
east
like
side
that.
of Patterson, when you get in to Route 20, where you're closer to Route 4 and Elmwood Park, you see some of these homes. They're amazing. A friend of mine actually bought. They were surprised. They're like, "Why are you moving to Patterson?" She ended up
an
getting
awesome
her for
house.
$500,000. What you would have bought here in Hackensack probably for $1 million. That's
crazy.
And you're on the border of. It technically used to be East Patterson, Elmwood Park. So you're right on the border.
Well, let's
mean-
hope that if they can get their school systems back under control, that
That's
will
the
help it
problem.
out. I know Zuckerberg donated money a
Yep.
while back. I don't know if that had an impact here, but let's hope.
When you're doing the raffle, do you get to pick your house, or is it just these are 7 houses? You're in a raffle. You might get one of them. It is what it is
I honestly don't know. I'm assuming you auction, you sign up for what house you want.
for what house.
I
you want,
guarantee you
yeah.
it's one per customer.
Well, yeah.
you can't get more.
Well, you can't
I mean,
live
if
in
you
2
think about
houses.
it.
I mean, I'll give them $20 and just outbid
Yeah,
everybody.
the house is not free though, so they are. They have a chance at equity though. So let's say you get the house for $1, and you spend $300,000
'Cause
renovating
you can't
the
live
home.
in it, and you have to live in it. So they probably give you a timeline.
It used to be, I think, 6 months.
Is it 6
It
months?
used to be
Hey,
you have
if
to
you're
move in
young
6
and
months.
adventurous, you could live in anything.
Well,
So that's great. So there. So
it's a house hack to me still though,
Yeah.
because if you think about it, if you only have to be here for 4 years, I had a guy who house hacked, and I get it. House hacking is a great way. But this guy was house hacking with his 2 kids. You
Ooh.
can't do that. Every 2 years, he was selling it. You know, obviously your primary
Yeah.
residence, you can make $500,000. And he was doing it with his kids.
Just for people who don't know what house hacking is, explain it.
Do you guys want to explain it? You want me to explain it?
You're great at explaining house hacking.
Here you go, Eric.
ahead.
So it's when
House
you-
hack.
My understanding of a house hack is when you live there and you get as many people to live in it with you or something like that.
Oh, you're-
and then you're
Or a
moving from
multifamily,
house.
like a
yeah, and then you're
multifamily.
using that to pay your mortgage and you're living there and then you're still renting it and renovating it, all that stuff at the same time. And you just keep going from house to house to house to house.
But
to
it
house
also
to
keeps
house.
you from having to pay capital gains if you
Because
if
it's
you-
your primary residence.
Yes.
So you live there just long
For the
enough.
2-year
it's
period.
$250
Yeah.
for an individual or
Two-
$500 for a married
500,
couple.
yep.
And it's hard to do that when you have
It's great
kids.
for single people.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Or,
So I-
or young people.
So you tell guys, you know, obviously they're young, they're married, 20, 22 out of college. You house hack.
Yeah.
You live there for 2 years. Obviously, you know, you have very generic furniture and you constantly keep moving every 2 years. But let's just say, you know, every 2 years, obviously the value of the homes are going up.
In
They
theory.
don't come back
Especially if
down.
you do work to
theory.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every 2 years, you're walking away with $300,000-$400,000 profit.
Tax.
So let's
Tax
let's-
free.
That's
Well,
that's awesome.
That's if they're
but-
married. Okay, even if they're not,
Even still
250
$250
grand.
So what's the downside of these dollar homes? Obviously, these are not in areas that are either well populated or well preserved. You know, so I know from following this over in Europe. I think I was reading a bunch of articles on Italy. You know, they're giving these little kind of village structures away, which I've been to Italy and it's gorgeous over there. But you're in a village, you may be like one person living in
the
a
entire
1860s
I'm sorry, I can't do
village with
that. I
nobody
need
there.
some neighbors. I don't want that many neighbors, but I need some neighbors.
So
So I
who
hear
knows?
a creak, and I'm like, "Who is that?"
Exactly. So who knows where these houses are? Maybe
Yeah.
this is in like
Areas
the
of
worst
need of
part of Newark.
redevelopment.
I have no idea.
Well, I can tell you this, and you worked in Newark for a while.
Loved it.
People who live in Newark have no problem living in Newark. I have
That's
people
true.
in Newark. This lady, she lives in Newark, and I'm like, oh well, how far are you looking to expand? Would you go to? I would never go to Patterson. I hear about, and I'm like, Patterson's not that bad, but I guess you're from Newark,
Right.
so you see Patterson as this thing. People from Patterson see Newark as this thing. But a lot of people, even police officers, people who work for the city, for the court, they still live in Newark.
Yeah.
That's where they were born. That's where they were raised, and they plan to stay in there. It's just that they're successful
Newark
now.
is an
Yeah.
amazing,
It really is,
amazing
yeah.
town, but you have to be comfortable with being there. I was
Oh, no.
comfortable.
Of course, I mean, you lived there. You
I
wor-
didn't
I'm
live
sorry- no,
there.
I
I
didn't say
worked
that.
there.
You worked there.
Yeah,
So you
I was
have
comfortable.
different sides of Newark. You have
But
your
the school
downtown
system-
area. You have
And
your
the rent control for investors.
Yeah.
The rent control is really strict. I'm pretty sure, you know, obviously a lot of large towns have rent control restrictions. There's no statewide restriction, but every, you know, like Hackensack does, maybe
Yeah.
what is it, 4% a year, something like
4.5%.
4.5%.
4.5%.
Depends on your age
But it
and if you
resets.
provide heat.
So if somebody's
Provide
under market value today and they leave, it resets. You can now charge market value.
Okay.
But some towns, and I'm not 100% if Newark does, but a lot of towns such as that, like I think Jersey City does, they have registered rents. So that means even when that tenant leaves,
It
you
doesn't
can't bring it to
reset.
market rent.
Yeah.
You can still only go up 4.5%
Oh,
or
no
4%
way.
a year. I don't know if
so
Newark is one of them.
even if they move out, you can't bring it up to market rent.
If it's
You only
registered,
can-
you have
If it's
to-
a
Oh,
registered
no
rent,
way.
yeah. You'd have to.
stuff.
I know
you'd have
Patterson was
to-
3%.
Unless you live there.
You have to show capital improvements. That's another way to
Or
get
if you
around
live
it.
there, if it's like a 3-family and you live in one of the units, there are some ways to get around it. But in general, for an investor, it's tough because you're stuck with those rents for 4% increase year over year.
This is not an unusual program. You know, Newark's doing it again. We talked about how they did it before. I remember there were some programs like this in Newburgh, New York,
Oh.
years
Newburgh,
back.
yeah.
Okay.
Newburgh, New York, I think is maybe even an older city than Newark. They used to make bricks over there on the Hudson River. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous city, gorgeous buildings. And when I first started investing, before I kind of became bullish in Hackensack, New Jersey, I was like, let me go to Newburgh. And I'm looking around and I took some tours and the structures were spectacular. It obviously wasn't the scale of Newark. But then I remember coming back and going to a local diner like a week later and the front page of the local newspaper, murder capital of the world, Newburgh,
Yeah.
New York. And I was like, shit, I can't do that.
I have a friend that he bought a single family property there. I mean, he grew up there, moved out, but he invested in real estate there, and he had a single family property ranch that he rented for years. And I remember tenants ended up moving out. he added a second level to this thing, and I think Newburgh is the market is booming right now
Is
over
it?
there. Yeah,
I haven't followed it recently.
but I didn't know it was that tough. You know,
was
when
really
he
bad.
first showed me, it was tough. But
Otherwise,
now,
I would have bought it
Yeah.
if I didn't see that article, because you could get stuff for 50 grand, 90 grand, 100 grand, similar to like Baltimore, Maryland. Similar, on the harbor, similar type scenario. You could buy row houses there that were, burnt out for $20,000.
let's start this. How about Jersey City? I had an office in Jersey City and Union City for years. We used to put liens on properties in Jersey City in the Heights for 150, 200,000. People were selling their houses for $250. Now those houses are $1
million bucks.
Easy. Yeah.
And you know how many houses I had opportunities to get in Greenville section? Nobody even touched. Nobody even wanted to look in Greenville section. One of my friends ended up. He had this property for years. He ended up renting it. It was a 2-family. Turned them into condos. He ended up selling it for $950,000. I couldn't believe it because I knew exactly what he paid for it. I knew how much he put in there, and I'm like, it was just a home run.
So
But you
that's
would never know. You would never assume that Greenville was going to be the place to live. The Heights was going to be the place to live.
these are all similar locations, obviously.
Yeah.
But so that's why we say,
sections of Jersey
yeah,
City. Yeah,
if
sorry.
you're not in it, you can't win it. So you just got to try.
Well, look at Hackensack.
Yeah,
I mean you were
Hackensack's
here
been
before
great.
Hackensack, before Main Street was even a
Main
two-way,
Street,
right?
Hackensack, New Jersey, absolutely. And I just believe I love the value add properties. I love buying in areas that need work. I think the formula for young investors out there is definitely to find opportunities like this. And if you're lucky enough to live in Newark,
That's my Newark property.
this
We're
is a
gonna
great
house
opportunity.
hack for $1. House hack for $1.
You got to get the house first. But
So who's the real
absolutely.
estate agent that gets the commission on the homes in Newark?
It's a
That's a great one.
nickel. I will waive my commission.
Okay.
That's really nice of you.
Thank you. I try to. I
He
do
does.
my-
He gives up some pro bono a couple times
He
a
does.
year.
He does a lot for people.
So this is happening in Newark right now, and
And in Europe.
but there's a whole webpage on this for HUD,
Okay.
housing and urban development
Throughout the
right?
country.
Yeah, throughout the country.
such as Detroit, like you mentioned.
Detroit. I mean, I'm sure in any state you can find
There's opportunities
there's an
anywhere.
opportunity for $1. So
And just like this, there's also grant programs out there.
Yep.
So when you do buy a building or you need money to fix something, there's programs all over the country. There's programs for weatherization. There's so much government money out there that could be on the state or federal level, in addition to these local city type programs. So you just got to get out there and search. You'll be surprised at what you can find.
Can I say one thing? You said Detroit, and it's funny because Detroit has been abandoned for years. I have a friend. She bought a property in Detroit almost 20 years ago. It's just been sitting there.
Yeah.
And she's starting to work on it now
Wow.
because there's a comp around the corner. Yes, it's a different area, but it's still around the corner. $525,000 they had sold this townhouse.
Nice.
And she
What'd
got
she
this
pay?
house, I think, like 9 or 10 grand years ago.
wow.
I mean, there's
Let's
still,
go to Detroit.
but Detroit has been abandoned
You
for
have to have the foresight. You have to be
Yeah.
able to just like
I
think
mean,
about what.
she did have to sit on it for years. I mean, there's tons of places that people sat on it for years.
So again, that's just another point. When you're young, you have
can
the
do
ability to do this stuff. You're not afraid to get your hands dirty. Go buy these cheap properties.
So if any of our viewers actually know of the different government programs you can get into, if they know where these dollar houses are being sold,
We want to hear about it.
we definitely
And
want
we'll
to hear
share
about
it.
it. Yep. Leave a comment because you're helping everyone out. This is
That's
a
right.
family affair. We all need to get into this. And
A
yeah,
dollar to a dream.
yeah, it's $1. I have $1 and a dream for a home.
And I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if you're in a high income bracket, low income bracket, as long as you're a resident
the
of Newark,
raffle.
you win
Yeah.
the raffle, right?
There's restrictions, but yeah, I don't think there's anything like
Well,
that.
I never win, so I don't think I'm winning the raffle.
I'm sure you can go on the HUD website. You can go on the Newark's website.
Just search
Give us
for
other
Newark
ones.
When is
$1
Hackensack going to start raffling off properties for $1?
They're not.
Never.
Yeah,
Never.
never.
I was just talking to the tax assessor, and he said the values in Hackensack have all gone up at least 6% in all the residential stuff. So
Nice.
there's no chance that's happening here. But people do. They have tax liens. You know, if there's properties in the towns that have these huge tax liens, sometimes the towns will raffle them off.
Thanks for watching this episode. Now don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And we'll see you next time.